Hey, everybody, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to everybody, everywhere, all over the place. This is your brother, um, me, and I am glad to be here with you once again. We have this great privilege, this great opportunity through technology to be coming to you either live or Memorex. Some of y'all will remember that commercial. Some of y'all remember that commercial. Doing on these internets or interwebs, howsoever you like it. And I love the fact that I'm me because I get to be me every time, all day, every day. And I love being having the opportunity to, on a serious note, to share this platform with some of the people I think are some of the smartest, brightest, most insightful, spiritualist people that I know. They are my friends, my family, and tonight is no different. We are here tonight to bring back to our platform. She shared in our platform. It might have been almost 2 years ago now, for a conversation we had then, and to invite her back now to talk about the stuff we're going to talk about. I love this young woman. She is a let me tell the truth. She's from Texas. I ain't gonna hate on it. She's from Texas, originally. Her peoples is from Texas. Good family. And then they landed some time ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, Tulsa is a very interesting place. It's close to where I'm from. We used to go back and forth from St. Louis to Tulsa often and have had a long time relationship with folk in Tulsa. And she shared in ministry with my brother beloved, and got to know her about 20. It's been 20 years. And have grown to love and admire her ministry, her work. She does a lot of things. She's a scholar. She studied. She preaches. Right, hold on. She's in the theater. She sings. And now she's doing, I don't know, she's gonna tell you what she do. You do a lot of stuff, motivational speaking. She's in women's work. Back in the day, they called her, she's in the women's department, doing great work with the women's. However, for me, she has been a sister beloved and friend and comrade in the work and the journey. And I have appreciated her ministry. Her children, her husband, and family there in Tulsa are my people beloved. Let me bring to this platform the Reverend Carmen White Janak. Come on in here and greet the peoples.
Hey, everybody. Good evening. Love you so much, Bishop Brother. I was so tickled while I was waiting backstage, all the things that you were saying. And I can believe it, but not believe it that it's been 20 years. And it's true. It is a fact. But the fact, I mean, still just mind blowing when you say the number that we've been in one another's lives for this amount of time, and have shared, as I wrote somebody earlier today, the ebbs and flows of life, the twists and turns, and victories as well, but the ups and downs and things that have made us be drawn even closer together, because of the beloveds that we share, and who are now ancestors. And so I'm so thankful to be here tonight, with you, and I'm excited. Our little text stream, baby. Baby. I am so excited about what the topics and what we're going to be speaking about tonight, because they are very dear to my heart. And I got so tickled about the women's department, because that is so true. I might have been the president
Right, right, right.
Huh? I might have been the president of the women's department, huh? With my unbroken white. You got to be old enough to understand unbroken white, not just whites. Because see, whites different is different now, especially in African spirituality. That is, but unbroken white, honey, that what you had to be deep down up under the pew in the church in the foundation to understand unbroken white.
You don't went on back and grab the hope on that. So let's jump right in. Here we
Yeah.
are. Here we are. Here we are, Reverend Carmen. Here we are. We're in this rarefied air. Now, some would say we've been here before. Now, and go with me just a little bit as we set this up a little. Some would say we've been here before. And of course, there are some familiar guideposts. There's some familiar signage. President gone rogue, some might say. A political system, however you slice it, ain't nobody happy. While at the end of the policy making or the lack thereof, there are people's lives. States gone, but governors all over the place. We done had, state legislatures and legislators just leave town. They leave town because they just leave town. We got the economy ups and downs, but let's be clear. Those that have are getting more. Them that ain't had much, they got less. Right? So there are some things that are familiar that one could conclude these are times that we've been through. Yet I would submit to you, we're in some times that ain't never been seen before. And uncommonly strange. And I was commenting, I watched, I had occasion to catch one of the shows we did a little while ago. And some of the things I said, this was 2 years ago now, almost 2 years ago, when we were talking, and I was like, can't you smell that some just ain't right? That great prophet of God from the hip hop era, gave us that number where that there's something burning.
Yeah.
Some don't smell good. Some don't. You taste on it, the taste is off. And Dr. King said it best in 1967. He was talking to his buddy, Harry Belafonte. And he said, man, I'm beginning to wonder if I have not invited people into a burning house.
No, burning house.
Right? So here we are. You are situated, I think, so very interestingly. Some might call Tulsa the buckle of the Bible Belt. The buckle. So right in the midst of all of what is understood when we say the Bible Belt. Here you are, and here you exist with the kind of learning, theological training, the roots that you have come from and grown up and out and onward. Here we are. I'm setting the stage for this conversation that we're getting ready to have. Because when I look around, I'm a little bit disoriented. How the people are, how they're able to just go right on like nothing ain't happening. And no urgency. Have you noticed that some of the folk ain't got no kind of
none?
They going on like life is
none.
But and the only time I'm sorry, one more thing. The only time I have ever listened, experienced this is when you've been in the funeral car after your loved one has died.
Yes, sir.
And your life done been flipped upside down, turned all the way around like a seesaw and all again. And yet the rest of the people driving, they ain't even pulling over, ain't even acknowledging that something have happened to you. Their lives are going on. So it's that feeling. I'm feeling like something. This ain't the same. And y'all driving on, going on, wearing on, talking on, moving on like it ain't nothing happened. Now, go ahead. What react and respond to that?
It is enraging. It is mind blowing. I have to fight despondency and despair and isolation because outside ain't safe. Outside ain't safe. And part of that is because so many of us are complicit in what is happening. You said something about people just going on. Well, I'm going to keep going on if my money's not funny. I'm going to keep going on if I can, every time I pull up to the pump, I can get as much gas as I want to. I'm going to keep going on if the most important thing to me are my name brands that I wear on my wrist or on my eyes or on my back or on my feet. I'm going to keep going on if I'm sitting in big spaces on the most segregated hour of the day on a Sunday morning, and I'm sitting in big spaces with thousands of other people, and we're all thinking, feeling, acting, and believing and behaving the same. And if it has not shifted for us, because we still get that, candy girl, we still get that kind of, that kind of word. Oh, you think I don't know? I had to throw it in there. We come back. We if you're getting that kind of messaging that never makes you feel uncomfortable. You never have to sit in discomfort. I didn't even think about wearing this shirt. I just needed to not have on my house clothes, if you understand. So I didn't even think about this shirt, but so many of our folks are sitting in comfort. So they don't feel what's happening out here in these streets. And now you're starting to see people, some people they're kind of waking up like popcorn. But you waking up while thousands of people have been displaced. Children, families torn apart, folks who, my heart was broken. Yeah, I said, look at the irony of this. Last week, I was on my way to go and look at a house we're looking at, we were thinking about purchasing. I was going to go do a viewing. As I was coming in the turnaround, I see the lights of a squad car, and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? State trooper on the curb in the turnaround, and one of our siblings who is unhoused is sitting while the officers are standing over him, very intimidating. Then there is a truck. This is what's happening in my city. There is a truck with men who are taking all of his belongings and those of others who live in that space and putting it on the back of this truck and about to take it and throw it away. It was so alarming, like everything in me began to just shake because I was just like, what are we doing? Now, and here's the thing. It doesn't bother you because I live in a high rise downtown Tulsa. I I was standing outside today. People walk around talking to people that we can't see all the time. They have never bothered me. This brother today, he said, I told you to shut up. I was like, whoever it is better shut up because he mean that. He mean that thing, right? But they have never approached me aggressively. They have never tried to do anything. My son walks at night. They never have tried. But we've put it out there. We've placed a narrative out there that they are dangerous. These are criminals. And we use all of this language that espouses fear, that puts fear in the hearts of folks. And so you don't see that. You don't see that man sitting over there scared, terrified. You don't see him as your brother. I'll take it a step further. You don't see him as the divine. You don't see him as God. So if that's my thought process, I don't care about it because that's not me. Before we're fine. Some folks that look like us, they were fine as long as the folks was coming with the mask was coming to get brown people. Now we're rappelling out of helicopters and different things coming down into spaces where we reside. I saw a clip today where an officer driving by, young man's just trying to pump gas. He's holding up the gas nozzle to the attendant to let her know the gas is not coming out. He gets a pistol drawn on him by the officer because he said it looks like a gun. No, tell me, because I could be wrong. When has a gas nozzle at the gas station ever looked like a pistol? And when he knew he was wrong, he went inside to try to get the story corroborated by the attendant. She said, oh no, he was just waving it to let me know that the gas wasn't coming out and I didn't know it. So he was getting my attention. Well, has he ever been a problem to you inside of this store? So just trying to find something because you will not, I'm going to say the word, I don't use this, but you will not repent. You won't turn from what you just did and say, I made a mistake. No, it looked like a gun. When, sir? When? Take the nozzle out. Show everybody in this parking lot. This has never looked like a gun. He said, man, you could see the hose connected to it. If I'm waving it, now he called him a different name, but he was waving. He said, but if I'm waving, you can see the hose connect. It has never looked like a weapon, like a pistol. So if fear has been incited in so many, in a lot of different ways. And for a lot of folk, that fear supersedes everything else. Because one of the things that we don't engage in is critical thinking. We don't engage in critical thinking because many of our churches, we can just be honest here, many of them we grew up in. We checked brains at the door. The preacher told us everything. And that's what we believed. That's what we believed about God. That's, you name things. That's what we believed about the economy. That's who we voted for. That's who we believed about governmental officials. That's who we believed about the government, period. That's what we believed about folk on the job. That's what we believed about everything. And now I live in the state of Oklahoma. We are 50, number 50 in education. Yet our former superintendent wants to spend money millions of dollars to put Bibles in the classroom, but every child going to the classroom can't eat. Make it make sense. It's not landing, it's going over the dome because we're so checked out intellectually, because now intellect is sinful. Intellect is criminal. And I know you over there at that school with them children, and you're doing everything that you can to keep them engaged. And that's part of what's happening inside of our churches. um I, this adoption, and let me go back, because part of this and I want to link this to mental health too, because part of this is what keeps us dysregulated, is what keeps our nervous systems dysregulated, because that fear it gets inside of the adrenaline, and we just feel like, I got to hustle more, I got to do more, let me get another job, let me get a new this, and that's us. And then you throw that in with Black church systems too, child, they about to roll you down that center aisle and stretch you out, because that's what kills us. And that is the systems that we're inside of. And around here, and as our brother Jesse would say, in Tulsa, Jerusalem, we over here, some of us fighting for our lives, because we are the outsiders. I am an outsider, and I've had to grieve that I'm not an insider here. I'm an outsider, and I'm an outlier. That's not new though. I'm an outlier because I will not adopt this strange fruit. And I will not eat from this strange fruit tree and call it nourishment. And that is the circle of what's happening. It is not just, you brought up the state in which I was born in, an entire mess. And it's going from state to state to state to state. And there's no place that has gone untouched with things that I never thought I would ever see. Things like today, I see a clip of where, whoever heard of government officials, FBI agents, government agents being told by local police in Portland, Oregon, if you try to take this vehicle like you want to take this vehicle into this crowd of protesters, I will arrest you. Whoever heard of that? It's the opposite. It's so upside down right now, and we're calling upside down right side up. And it is, you do have to fight to maintain your sanity in this moment in time that we're in. I don't know if you saw this today, but Larry Reed posted on Facebook a word, because it would be a diatribe. It would be a treatise, lots of paragraphs and lots of alliteration that Bishop Pearson would write, but he was spot on. It was from 2017. Talking about what we're living in this moment. And I often talk to him about that. Then listen, he would be writing a whole book right now. But I often speak to him about what he could see And you mentioned King. It's not that we don't have clues. It's not that we don't have references of voices who spoke of this day, because they could see it, as the text says, from afar off.
So here we are.
Mm-hmm.
You've laid it out and you've named it. Um, and a couple of things. I love that you used strange fruit, pastoral scenes of a gallant South, bulging eyes and twisted mouth, scent of magnolias, sweet and fresh, then suddenly smell of burning flesh.
Mm-hmm.
That's the second verse of that song by Maripol. Abel Maripol penned those lyrics to the tune of our sister Billie Holiday. That haunting melody, haunting. I'm almost aghast to hear how some of us are articulating this moment. Now, I won't. We don't have to lay out some of what we might say, right? One of our folk just posted up children zip tied in Chicago. I saw it.
Yeah.
A text, just about as my, scantily clothed. Well, folk done went up in the building in south side of Chicago. We're detaining people because they look a certain way. And now the government has said, Supreme Court ruled you can racially profile now. You can just look black or brown, and you can just look like you done something. And I thought we got case law on that you can't do that. However, we're trying to dial dial it back to a time that's long since gone. Voting rights just about obliterated. The move that was made, in Texas and in other states to gerrymander once again to place, because there's some fear that we might not vote the right way in the midterm election. I don't know. And as I say all of what I've said, I was reminded of the text that we used yesterday in our lesson from the book of Exodus. That you're gonna laugh. Remember the text where the Hebrew children, they then got out there. They have heard from God from on Mount Sinai.
Sinai.
Yeah.
Where I grew up.
Yeah, where I grew up, that's how they said it. And then they said, it would have been better for us to have stayed back yonder than to come out here and die because we's hungry. Right? We's hungry. This is the text. And, what God did is rain manna for him. And the word manna, I've read several of this newfangled translation. Now, my grandma would have said King James Version, this, thus, thou, because Jesus, that's how he taught. Red letters, that's how he taught. Thee, thus, and thou. Manna, the word, if you do some studying, is what's this mess? Right? And there's a vernacular. I'm gonna be nice today, but vernacular, they'd have said that. The churn say ish. All right, I'm gonna keep moving. I'm gonna keep moving. I'm gonna keep moving. If you know, you know. And and God fed them. And what I was reminded of is daily bread. Give us this day, you know, the prayer that the Lord taught us to pray. Our daily bread. That they couldn't go and get it and hoard it up for tomorrow, because then it went bad. Yeah. So here we are. We in a situation. Yet I keep getting reminded that God, He heard the cries of His people. Now, here's the thing: are we crying out? Where in my way of thinking? Where's the spirituality that's been accessed, or are we on that candy girl? Come on, Annie, come on. Are we on? But we seemingly we're on that tip. We want to just so. I mean, these stage shows we got going on now, and they call it.
Goodness.
They call it show. It's a show. It's canned, and there's no power. Or my people then would call it power. There's no power for real. I mean, for real.
No, for real.
Access it. And for me, I need the power to be articulate, right? I need it. And what I'm hearing is dumb. So I'll be like, no, because, God, you talks to me pretty clearly and coherent, right? Now it's in English. And the reason I'm speaking English is because of some wrongs that went down a couple of centuries back.
That's it.
I'm talking good.
That's it.
But here we got, and it's set up not ever for me and people like me and others to actually benefit from it. So when we're talking about, here I'm getting ready to say something. I know it's going to get me maybe in trouble. We're talking about saving democracy. We never had it. Never had it. It's not what we got here. And it wasn't built for me no how. So no need of saving what wasn't for me in the beginning. Or as my people would say, in the beginning.
Put them D's in there. Put them D's in there.
And I'm not for sure we're even actually experiencing it in the way that we maybe need to, that we are espousing the rhetoric, using the language of what these folk are saying. And I'm hearing folk I thought knew better. Okay, you can have some of them saying some stuff, and I'm very respectful. One of the people that some of our folk looked up to just went on to be with the Lord a little while ago from Louisiana. And but his son in the pulpit said some stuff that made me want to made me want to holler and throw up both my hands, Marvin Gaye. And I was a bit questioning. Troubled is what you said just a little while ago. I'm troubled. And I can't act like that we're somewhere else. These are troubled times. And I'm holding in the tension because I know the Lord will take care of God's own. I know that. I know it for a fact. And I live. My beloved and I were talking yesterday, I guess it was the day before, and we were talking about, well, our lives have been, while we were talking, our lives have been daily bread oriented, right? It ain't, it ain't got past me. The Lord's been good. God has been good. And it's been daily. Daily. New mercies I see every day. Every morning by morning, the hymn writer wrote. So here we are. And here's the other thing. I'm also understanding that we can't be looking for a political solution to be what's going to fix everything. Because this time they done broke the thing. They done broke it. They broke it. And you can't Humpty Dumpty can't get this put. We
No,
can't
no, no,
put
no,
this
no, no,
back.
no. It's too many. It's too many fragments.
Yeah, yeah. They broke this thing. So here we are. We're gonna have to lean into each other, and quite frankly, some of our siblings, I'm looking at them sideways. I got a hairy eyeball look on them because if you're not for real, you playing, you angling this for somebody else. Because I know you don't even believe what you saying. Yeah, what you said to me the earlier is true. I'm more Christian than I am ...
Mm-hmm.
When has
Because you chose that, Bishop brother. You chose that. When you came, when your spirit left the ancestral realm and showed up on earth side and came into this body used by your parents to get you here, you showed up. I've always been chocolate, huh? Always. Don't want to be nothing else. If I come back in another life, I don't want to be anything but this. This is how we showed up. I chose Christianity. I chose African spirituality and cosmology. I chose where I went to school. I chose where I went to all of those things. We chose those. No, that was not forced upon us. And you can't say that it was. I know people like to say things like, well, God knew. Well, you had a free will to choose which direction you wanted to go in. I could have easily have been Buddhist. Now, after I left my mama's house, but I'm just, you know what I'm saying. But that ideal to that ideology of erasure is not new concerning us. Because what happened? You alluded to it. Transatlantic language gets taken. Name gets taken. How you worship gets taken. That's why we had the clearings. That's why we had hush harbors. That's why we had that. And then spirit came upon beautiful writers and they began to write about Toni Morrison began to write about. But that was our life. And we were not intermingled with the folks when we went to church because it wasn't even like you had a choice. You were made to go, and often in shackles. I've been in one of those churches right there in your city. It's not lost on me that the name of your church is what? It's not lost on me. But this is stuff that is known by the two of us. This is not stuff that is talked about in most of our churches led by people who look like us. Here in my city, one of my good friends, she has a whole curriculum. They do Black History Saturdays and use the banned books, which we know are mostly African American Black folk authors, and teaching children all the way up to adults and our elders history that they never heard. Now, we're learned people and we continue to learn and we continue to read, but that's not, as my daughter would say, that's not everybody's testimony. It's not. And so we don't even know. We don't even know that there was a life that Africans had a life beyond enslavement.
Let's really be clear that we don't begin with the transatlantic slave trade.
We do not. We do
In
not.
fact, in fact, Lucy,
Come on.
this is who they call her.
Uh-huh.
We know that every single person who's ever born as a human being comes from one mother. They found her in the Great Rift Valley. Mhm. That's East Africa. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
And they call her Lucy, and it's where we all come from. See, you can't get black from white. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Don't y'all get mad at me. This is it. This is the science of it.
It's science.
I can't. Don't get mad at me for saying that. And here, so here we are again. Now we are now dealing in authoritarianism.
Mm-hmm.
We have political leaders who are going after their political enemies.
Mm.
Yeah, let's just call a thing a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're going after them. They're taking them to court. They are, they want to put them in jail. Want to lock them up.
Somebody's house burned down today.
See,
A judge.
what some political violence is talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Other political violence is not talked about. We lift up and want to create heroes out of some,
Well,
while others we don't even mention. Okay. We create laws, or better yet, we just do a thing
just
and
do it.
dare them to be legal actions. I'm amazed, and then some of us are just quiet. We're complicit and quiet. Okay, all right. It's our duty to fight for our freedom. One of our ancestors, most recently crossing over, said,
Solid. Shakur. It's our duty to win.
"It's our duty to win. We must love and support and care and nurture one another. We don't have nothing to lose but the chains,
Chains.
right?" So I'm clearly, you all are fighting the good fight. I know what some of y'all are doing. I know what you're doing where you are. Talk a little bit, because I heard tell that the state school person wanted to create Turning Point USA organization in Earl School.
In all the schools. And he said that one week, and the next week he resigned from the position. And now, if you ask me, they didn't put me on the television. But had they,
Had they asked you,
had they asked me,
I'm asking what you say.
this was a stepping stone to get to where he is right now. He wanted to, he utilized this position, and it was good until he and the governor, he was doing too much and causing too much friction, and the governor didn't like that. Now you got people looking at us like we off, which we are. They looking at us the right way, but I don't want them to, you see. So you overstepped. And so there was a lot of friction there. And so now he kept saying that all the people are asking for it, just like all the people are asking for us to come into Chicago. All the people are asking for us to come into Memphis. They asking for us to do this. It was the same. And he's now moved on to a similar type of positioning, but with a turning point ideology. So he can roost there like he wants to. And but there's been so much damage that has occurred because of him and his leadership thought processes and strategies that he's hijacked, and it has led us to number 50 in the state. And one of the things that I want to be sure that I say, because I believe that this is highly, highly important. One of the things that I said earlier about that I have to fight isolation, and I fight that by intentionally being in community. And I want to say this to you: what you and your beloved are doing in your city and in your state to foster and nurture and curate community is how we save us. It's how we save us. We cannot do this because the idea of, you brought in the law, as far as I'm concerned, that is, it's so irrelevant because who's following it. We can't talk about the Constitution. Who's following it? We can't talk. We say things like, this is not our America. Yes, it is. It's the one that y'all put together. We just pilgrims in this land, huh? We didn't come. We did not choose to be here. And so no, this is because how this country was constructed was on pillaging and killing, and that's what we're having right now. And the interesting thing is, when their major spokesperson was gunned down, you take the fight to historically Black colleges and universities. We did not enter that fight. We won't ever say who the perpetrators are. It's y'all's own people. And we see it over and over. The statistics are not lying. Us, we don't be walking into people's schoolhouses and churches and doing things. That's not us. And it is infiltrated in so many different places. And you just see it over and over and over and over again. But it's my opinion, and I believe this. I'm stand 10 toes down on it. What saves us is community. What saves us is one another. It is not, we have to be our own solutions. We had that. Black Panther Party, we had it. You don't want to feed our kids? No problem. We gonna feed our kids. Because you know what we have I don't care what city you live in these United States of America, there's empty buildings in places and empty churches everywhere, because 2020 came through here. And they got kitchens and whatnot. We've been doing that. We sent our people to college on fried chicken dinners. Come on. That's what we did. And we made sure you didn't just go. We made sure if you wanted to stay, you could stay. Whether that was $5 being pushed in your hand, it didn't matter. Because you were a representation. When we went to school, we were a representation of the community that we came from, and everybody was excited about us. That's our boy over there. That's my girl over there. So it's that community for me and honestly, I know we have these platforms, but some of our stuff has to also can't be televised and has to go underground in order for us to move in ways that are not always known. And bringing people together, like you don't know where the meeting is unless certain people tell you.
Until you know. You don't know
Until,
when it is until you
until
know.
you until you just like you said to me I got that when you sent me the message today. You said, I'll send you the link when I get it. You'll have it as soon as I get it. It's the same. To me, it's the same. It is the same thought process. No, you won't know until you know. Somebody invited me to something, a birthday party, and there were no instructions. There was no location given on the invitation. They said, if you come, we'll then give you location.
Mhm,
And that is about safety.
mhm,
I teach my little grandbaby, my little grand royal Lennox. I teach her safety first. And she'll say Lubby, because she can't say her B's yet. She said, Lubby, safety first. Yes,
mhm,
because it is about, but I have to care about you in order to want you to be safe.
mhm,
I got to care about your family. I got to care about your granddaughter at college. I got to care about your wife. I got to care about the folk that's in your church. I got to care about your neighbor. In order, no, we're going to all be safe.
Yeah.
Like we came in here I told my kids once, we came in here as 5 of us, we leaving as 5. Now we may have to go through some of these people right here. But we all came in here together. We're leaving together. But that is the kind of camaraderie. That's the kind of strength that we have to have in order to move forward. Because if we're looking for outside to save us, it is chaos out there. And that's not, we gonna save us.
Mhm. So you mentioned banned books and folks, more money. Very shortly, you'll start to hear about what we're thinking about as it relates to this week being banned book week all over the country by the Library Association. And so we're gonna do something about that. We're gonna lift this up. I'm thinking about the color purple. And I'm thinking about the kind of spirituality that's linked to, well, let me just say this. For those of you who know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When I say um, uh, uh, the 3-finger Miss Seeley, when I say that to some people, y'all know what I'm talking about. Mhm.
Until you do.
Right by me.
Nothing. Everything gonna fail.
Or it ain't worth it, Miss Seeley. We got we know, right? We know we will quote a movie or a book and know what it means. It
Yes.
carries a kind of
Yes.
significance.
Yes.
It's what you were talking about when you were talking about those brush arbors, those meeting places of ours. Follow the drinking gourd. Uh-huh. That was a signal. Wade in the water.
You took it straight out my throat.
God's gonna trouble the water. That we done already. Yeah, there's a meeting tonight. Swing low, sweet cherry, coming for the. These were the great Negro spirituals. And we stylized it with the Eurocentric sound.
Mm-hmm.
And so we could do what we needed to do for that time. But those were message songs. I reminded people, mercy, mercy me. Things ain't what they used to be. No. That was an ecology song, but that brother Marvin gave us 1934, right? So there is. I am imploring those of us who know how to work our spirituality, right? It's time now. If I ever were a prophet, I don't claim that, but there is a prophetic voice and word that lives inside me and many of us. It is now time to evoke and to conjure, if y'all let me use that term, right?
Baby, my altar stay lit.
Yeah. This is the time now, and let me tell you what I know. What I know is, and I've mentioned it, and I'll keep mentioning it until it's repeated over and over and over again by others. Mama Cecile Fatima and Baba Duty Bookman back in 1791 called a meeting over in the way, over on an island called Saint Dumont. We call that island today Haiti. Haiti. And they called a meeting. And they called a meeting in the way you and I would call a meeting. They called a spiritual meeting. And they danced and sung and called on the ancestors and called on the great spirits, divining themselves in the Obatala.
Yes.
Yemenya, Ogun. These are aspects. These are aspects of God. Y'all got it twisted. What y'all call Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Zikanu, Jehovah Nisi. These are names of God, aspects of God, right? They called on the spirits of God. And today, those formerly enslaved ones fought for their liberation.
Yes, they did.
And from 1791, by 1804, they declared themselves free of French rule, right? And that began. They note, and every historian that talks about the liberation of Haiti will say it began at the prayer meeting.
You talking?
It can't you don't you sense it's time for us to come on in the room and where I came from, they would call a meeting, all right, and hit the floor.
The floor.
Yeah, and it would be a dusty storefront floor. I grew up in storefront church. That's what I grew up in. I didn't grow up with the comfort of them big old large spaces and stuff. No, I think if we had a crowd, it was about 15, 20 of us. That was a crowd. We showing up gonna have church with 20 people. We had every officer and every position covered. And we practiced the presence of the divine as we understood it to be. And I often pull on that now because I'm in some of these high places. This summer spoke to 10,000. Not too many can say that they've spoken to thousands that I have, right? And I think about our brother, right? I think about some of those who are now gone to the ancestor realm. And I am wondering and I am hoping to encourage and to evoke and invoke a passion for that spirit.
Yes.
Because let's mark our time now with that, right? Let's mark our time with that. Three Finger Sealy. That she was invoking a spiritual
Yes, she
thing.
was. Yes, she was.
And if you go to the end of that book and movie, you go to the end of it, he lived long enough to see. One, he did have to metanoia. He did have to go or as our brother would have said, he had to think and think again. He had to rethink it again. And actually do what was necessary in order for him to go to sleep. And I believe with all of my heart that we will survive. We will survive. Past the scripture, y'all. I'm a preacher, so I am going to preach. passage scripture. These are they that have come through great tribulation. Into that, said that they've been washed in the blood, right? And their works do follow them. They're known not necessarily by name.
Mm-hmm.
They're known not necessarily by other identifications, but they're known by the works, the legacy, the charges, their remnant, their progeny. Oh, come on here. They're known by what follows them. I have to say that I'm from the legacy and birthed in the tradition of the Black church here in the United States. I'm birthed in it. I was baptized and born in it.
Period.
I come from the church. You couldn't join it. You have to be burned in it.
You're burning it.
Right. So and I'm from it. That's my root. Right. And yet I understand that it's going to take that same spirit. Right. If grace brought us thus far,
that's it.
Then grace is going to have to lead us on. Right. And I believe in that power that raised Lazarus from the dead, that same power that turned it around when they thought they was going to die in the wilderness. They didn't.
They didn't.
Some did.
Had to fall by the wayside.
Some did, but others did not. And here we are for such a time. You're in now the king's court. Mordecai said to his family member, you're in the king's house now. He chose you. And you had another choosing that you were chosen to be in the house for such a time as this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think some of us are in these, but you're in Tulsa, sis. You're right there in that buckle of the Bible Belt. There's a lot of stuff. What our brother call it?
Tulsa, Jerusalem.
Y'all don't know, but that's something other right there. And yeah, and I get it so much, right? Mm-hmm. And here we are. We've got the call is so very clear. It's crystal clear. We out of time. We done went past time. I'm prevailing on your time. What last word you got to say?
Thank you for that. I am reminded of, I know you know this. Remember that song that says, shut the door, keep out the devil. Shut the door, keep the devil in the night. Shut the door.
Yes.
Light the candle, everything's all right. And that is, we saw that in the movie Sinners. Mm-hmm. We have to shut the door. Mm-hmm. And those nights where we shut in, mm-hmm. we shut the door. And we kept everything else out. And the only thing that was invited in was the presence of the divine. And it was about us gathering, as you said. It was about us gathering, and we've got to do that. We've got to do that. I listened to today, I know Bishop Vanessa Brown posted one of our beloveds who has gone on a prayer that I often pull up, because we don't hear prayers like this, where about that second word, it's not English anymore. You understand what I'm saying? And it's that, because it is the conjuring of, it is the invoking of the presence of those who have gone ahead of us, who have been warriors as we were in the continent. They have been those who have stood their ground and said, this far, no further. And so it's that presence that I literally have been invoking. I said it and I meant what I said. My altar stays lit. It's lit right now. It stays lit. And I spend time with the ancestors on a daily basis, and it calls for us to do things like we were taught to rise early in the morning and spend that time to get your instruction for the day. That is the daily bread. That is the give us this day. I need to know how to form my day before I start moving through the day, or the day starts moving through me. That's most of us, that the day starts moving through us and we don't have any formation. And so, the prophetess, if we want to say that, Beyonce said, get in formation.
Mhm.
And it's time for us to get into formation. And I am so thankful and grateful for you and for the work that you do, that does give us strategy, that you add your wisdom, and not just the wisdom that you possess alone, but the wisdom of the ages. It's that Sankofa moment of where you're looking back and bringing forward the wisdom of the ages, so that we know how to move, and how we know how to be still, and we know how to be disciplined enough that when it's time to speak and when it's time to be still, and to quieten ourselves, not because we're afraid, but because there's something else that is built up on the inside of us to be able to speak when it's time to speak. And when we move with power, we move with strength, and we move with wisdom. And so I'm thankful for our time tonight, and I'm thankful for you. And thank you for this opportunity of thinking of me and asking me to be here today. It's been my joy to be here with you today.
Listen, it's we when we get together, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. You
Uh-huh.
think about this lastly, in the movie Glory,
Mm,
at the climax of that movie, in my opinion, it's not the fighting scene, it's the night before, where the men practice a spiritual ritual and tradition of singing.
mhm,
And then they would clap and sing and then pray. Now, some might say they clapped and sang and got dead, which
mm,
would be true.
mm, mm, mm,
But we remember the effort of the Massachusetts 54th, those black soldiers who fought uh, at Fort Wagner, and who whose work then is memorialized and then brought to film with Matthew McConaughey. Is that who that was?
He,
Uh-huh.
uh-huh.
And um, Denzel Washington, and the brother from Mississippi. What's his name? Um,
Wait a minute.
Electric Company.
Now I can't think of his name now.
Yeah, yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about. That him.
Him.
They sing that song, and and they it's so very moving. Here we are again talking about what they had to conjure up. They died in that battle, but their effort lives on, their example of their courage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Yeah. That's our saving. It is our spirituality. And doing that in the context of community, sis, we are always family forever. Give my
Ever.
love and regards to you and yours.
I
Uh,
will.
that warrior lawyer you got, that warrior lawyer daughter of yours in particular, who I know from a whole nother setting when we was in my hometown. She was
Uh-huh.
there with us.
You
Um,
got them mixed up. Now that the warrior, yes, they both warriors, but that other
the
one,
other warrior,
you talking about the one that was in St. Louis, who went to
yeah,
school in St. Louis, who's
yes.
now a professor.
Excuse me.
J- uh-huh, J-
She ain't lawyering. She professing.
yeah, yeah. So we got a lawyer. That's child number one, Taylor. Jaden's number two. Jaden is a professor in Minnesota now, Dr. Jaden now.
Excuse.
You see
So
what I'm saying?
sorry, Jay. So
You see,
sorry. So sorry.
so we got Doctor. Yes. So Jaden's been teaching it at St. Olaf College in Minnesota. This is the second year. This
Right.
is the second year. But yes, we the family's growing. We got two now. We've got two little grand royals. The last one just had his first birthday, and that's the lawyer's baby. And then our youngest son, he when we first met you, he was a baby.
That's correct.
Houston. So he has the oldest grand, so Lennox. But yeah, everybody is doing exceptionally well. And we when we get off of here, I have somebody I need you to call.
All right. We'll talk on it. Listen, y'all. Um, thank you again for listening. Those who have jumped in and out of this conversation are all for the last hour or more. Those who will watch us later, and those who will see us when it's the right time for them to see this word. Thank you very much for your witness. Thank you for bearing witness and for the courage to do so, and to be troubled when you to be troubled when you see something going down that's done went left and went wrong. It is right now time to respond. We used to sing a song, if we ever needed the Lord, sure do need him now, right now. And this is our opportunity to do what is right, to do the moral thing, to pay homage to our ancestors, and to be the living witness for the kingdom of God that is to come. Thank you, sis. We'll talk. Y'all know what to say. Same bad station, same bad channel, same bad time. I am a child of the 60s. Go,
that is
Batman. Okay. God bless y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.